Hi everyone, I'm Donovan, Head Director of Training and Breeding at Canine Control.
Just go get the dog.
Pitbulls have locking jaws. True or false? Stay tuned in for the answer.
Well, I love dogs. I'm a huge dog lover. My whole life I had Rottweilers, and I saw Pitbulls and they're adorable as puppies. And I know they have a bad reputation, but I feel it's the owner, it's not the Pitbull. My parents didn't know I was bringing another dog home. It was a surprise. They were very, very upset. They said unless I get the dog trained, the dog cannot stay in the house. And especially because it's a Pitbull, I knew my parents were gonna go off the reputation of Pitbulls and how they have a bad reputation. So they said, you know, she's a great dog now, but she's a puppy.
Since my brother had Donovan train his Rottweiler, and I knew that his Rottie was a very good dog and listened, I immediately told her if she wanted to keep the dog, you were going to have to call Donovan and get her trained as soon as possible, which is exactly what happened. Now the dog is awesome. The dog was very good as a puppy. She listened, she's good, but she was a lot to handle. She's a very powerful dog. She's a huge dog, and when she would get active, I used to worry that I wasn't going to be able to control her. And I didn't want a situation because I told my daughter a dog of that size is a liability compared to the little tiny teddy bear we had, which doesn't do any damage. This dog is not out of control, can definitely do a lot of damage.
Another dog I have a mix. It's called a teddy bear. It's the Bichon Shih Tzu. The rest of the family loves the dog. They love the dog. Now they love the dog. After Donovan, she's amazing. Now she's good.
It's a lot easier to love a dog that's well behaved and that listens when you tell it what to do. You don't get frustrated, you don't have to worry that the dog's going to get out of control, so now the dog is not a problem. But we also started the training very soon as possible. She started training when she was about 5 months old. So basically,
even before that, I think.
she's been trained since she's a
She just
puppy.
turned a year old.
She's just a year this month.
Donovan's style of training, in the beginning, I mean, he's very unique. So the things he does in the beginning, it seems it's different. You're not used to it. So you're not uncomfortable, but you don't really know where it's going. But the outcome is great.
It all comes together in the end.
Yeah, it all comes together in the end.
Come on in. Well, what are you kidding? This is like I'm glad you two adult doctors. It's like the hottest mother-daughter cop team on planet Earth. You guys should be like, you'll get kicked. I'll get you kicked off the force, okay? You're lucky it's not summertime and have the two of you in bikinis.
Oh my God.
All right? Are you kidding me? The first time I saw you, I thought you were lying to me that these were your kids. I thought you were the sister.
It's all a scam.
This is all a scam to get you on video.
I'm like, forget about it. Like,
Alright,
the cops can't even, the police department can't even allow them to hire them like mother-daughter teams like this. This is scandalous. You guys are like a walking scandal. Listen, how's Cece been doing?
she's been doing very, very good. I told you we had a party.
Yeah, we had a party, my brother's birthday. We had a lot of people over. She wasn't jumping on people. Surprisingly, she wasn't jumping on
Yeah,
people.
I had cleaned up the outside
Yeah.
kennel, expecting that I was going to have to leave her outside.
How about calling her in now when she's out in the yard?
She comes.
She comes in. But I haven't really...
Now she goes upstairs, like she's allowed upstairs now.
Yeah,
You know,
she'll
we
come
call her
down when I call her.
downstairs.
I don't have to go running after her.
How about walking out? You've been practicing
Yes.
walking out in the front
Yes,
yard?
been out in the front.
My
She
dad
was out
takes her
there today.
everywhere.
Huh?
Now she goes to wall bound.
She goes to
in the
wall
car. She's like...
Now, didn't I tell you, you see what I mean? The freedom. Look, you didn't think they were going to do it, right?
No, I didn't think they were going to do it.
See?
No, my dad, yes.
What? I walk with her outside. She goes outside every time with the garbage out.
Well, this is the thing about having a trained dog. When you have a
Absolutely.
well-behaved dog, it's a lot easier to bring the dog with you. So it's kind of like a paradox. In the beginning, a lot of people are resistant to a certain degree, like you are, Steph. Like, I don't want to take away the dog's freedom.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a double-edged sword, because on one hand, you make the dog more controlled, you take away the dog's freedom a little bit. But on the other hand, the dog gains a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
Because once the dog is controllable, now you can bring the dog everywhere with you.
Yeah, it's true. She does.
And as,
She goes everywhere.
right. Before, you couldn't bring her anywhere
Yeah.
because she was too much of a pain in the ass. You know?
Well, before I could bring her, but I was like this.
I remember your story about going to the vet.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
That was.
So now it's like a
Brought us
matter.
everywhere.
Now it's a matter of us escalating a few times, like the situation that we make her listen at. Like, remember when we went to the dog park? She was still on the leash at that time.
Yeah.
We'll kind of simulate that. Maybe next time I come, we'll go down to the dog park and we'll take the leash off outside.
Yeah.
We'll see how she does then.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then we'll escalate it to a bigger thing. Then maybe I'll get a couple of my other clients that are about the same point that you're at, and we'll all meet at a central location so everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
So nobody's frightened. We're not frightening any innocent bystanders. So that becomes the problem with pit bulls or connie corsas or any of these big dogs, is that if you do it out in the street and somebody just gets intimidated by it, it's really not fair to them.
Right.
So it's better if whoever we're staging with is all part of the plan.
Yeah.
So if there's like 3 of you and you just act like you're running into each other,
Right, it's not.
then everybody has the same opportunity to control their individual dog, and you also know that they have a certain amount of control over their dog too, so you don't have to be concerned about that.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh my God, I don't know how this guy, my dog might listen, but what if his dog
Yeah, right, the
doesn't?
dog doesn't.
So that's another issue, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel, I mean, on a, you know what I'm saying? Like, generally speaking also, how much would you say, like, her personality is, like, coming to normal? Like, she seems adjusted to the whole thing?
I think she's very adjusted. I think she's very well behaved. I think it's a lot less stressful for everybody, for her included, because she knows what's expected
By
of
the
her.
way, she has the same first name as my best friend, Cece. Come on, Cece.
She's in.
What's up, baby? Good girl. Oh, I love you too, Cece. I love you too, baby. Good girl. Good dog. Good dog. You little chubby. You get a little chubby. You get out big and chubby. I remember when you were a baby. I remember when you were a baby. Like, you probably have noticed a lot less of the outbursts too. Like when you take her outside
yes.
now, you don't have to worry.
And she doesn't run out when you open the door?
No. See, now that you have her, like, off the leash and responding to the remote, you don't have also that defensive territory of the leash for her to be protective over. Dogs are actually a lot less likely, in general, dogs are less likely to bite off the leash than they are on the leash. Because when you're on the leash, the same reason, like, remember when you first pointed out to me that she would get really aggressive when you put her in the car?
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's because
Yeah.
I explained to you then, because the territory is very small. So the dog's first inclination is to defend the smaller territory. Well, a similar thing happens when you put a dog on the leash. It's a traveling territory. Now you're moving and the dog feels that leash, and the dog feels that its instincts tell it to protect the perimeter of the leash. So the most dangerous time is like when somebody tries to walk inside that leash, you know what I'm saying? Or if a strange dog comes up and walks inside that leash. A lot of times the same dog, like if you bring it, let's say, to the dog park, it may seem very aggressive when you walk it in the street, it barks at every dog. A lot of people are surprised when they take their dog to the dog park and it doesn't fight. Like they let it off the leash and they're like, it's running around playing with dogs.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Because he's off the leash and that defensive-ness is gone.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that, like, she's getting much easier. Look, I know when I come in here and there's no more cage, and the gate's open.
And the whole thing's not
Yeah.
blocked off going upstairs.
Remember how much I told you that it's all gonna happen at
Yes.
the end? Like, okay,
Yeah.
all of this slow stuff, like, you're like, I hear this is the normal process. Yeah, she's still pulling, she's still doing that, she's still doing that, and I'm like, just wait. Just wait. Do you see now, looking back at it in hindsight,
absolutely.
how each little stage built up to the end result?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And why I took my time in the beginning teaching her everything. It seems like you're headed nowhere.
Exactly.
You don't believe that it's going to culminate to the
Together.
level of control that I promised you,
Right.
right?
And overall, pretty quick.
Yeah, looking back at it,
Yeah.
that's what everybody says. Guys are like I'm training the dog 3-4 months, and the dog's completely trained. I thought it would take like 2 years.
Yeah, it's only been
No.
like what, 3? It's only been like
Yeah.
like
There you go. That's the idea.
They're letting her out?
Yeah, let her out, cut.
Okay.
That was huge.
Oh, I remember it used to be it was a major fiasco, like
Yes.
stopping her at the door and, you know, hey, what's up, Cece? Good girl. Good girl. Down. It's really good. Looks very controllable. No. And that's what happens is you'll find that as you progress, you'll find that you have less and less and less opportunities to use the remote because it's clear to the dog that if she does these things, she doesn't experience any aversive reinforcement. But you see also how kind of the initial stress has worn off, and when I release her, this is why I told you in the beginning, the most important part of the whole puzzle is the release, right? It's her saying this, Cece, look at me. Okay. Okay, see? This is the most important part, is that after...
Even this is, she's calm.
Right.
She was jumping all over you for the next 2 minutes.
Right,
See, she's
now
good.
even the release is more controlled.
Absolutely.
Everything is more controlled. Even when she's excited, it's not nuts. It's much more... Yeah, look. Cece, come here. Come on, girl. Good girl. Come here. Come here, baby. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Ah, good girl. Good dog. But it's so much better.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
She's a puppy still. She acts like a mature, older, calm
Yeah.
dog. I mean, she just turned a year.
Well, that's another thing that I say. The formal obedience training, the way I've designed the program, it kind of speeds up the maturing
Yes.
process.
Which is
like
nice.
all of a sudden, look, that's why I said, you want to know what? You could yell at a kid, stop being a class clown, right? 1,000,000 times. That doesn't work. You know what works? A 60-hour-a-week job. Like, shit ain't so funny, huh? How's that? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Get a 16-year-old kid off the couch who just like does nothing but lazy and like lives off his allowance and like doesn't have any obligations. Slap him with some bills and a rent and see how fast like all of a sudden, oh, you look a little more serious.
Yes.
What happened to the big jokester? Okay? To a certain degree, you give a dog responsibilities and rules, and all of a sudden everything comes down to a more normal level. When the dog's young and immature, it's like, you know, the living room is her playground.
Absolutely.
And now the dog is realizing that there's limitations and rules to things, and because of that, you know, she's becoming much more livable. Look, group hug.
We're doing hugs on camera.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Listen, I really wanted to deliver for you. You know, John has been really good to me, and I had a lot of affection for John. When I met you, you know, and I came over, he kind of hinted to me, I gotta go there the first time with you. You're gonna have your hands full. You know, you're gonna have your hands full. You know.
For those of you who chose false, you were right. As a matter of fact, no dogs have locking jaws. A less known fact. According to the Humane Society, both German Shepherds and Rottweilers have stronger jaws than the Pit Bull.
Hi, I'm Cece. I'm a veterinary technician now for almost 15 years. And Josh is here with his Pitbull Terrier. We're going to take a look at him because he has a mass on right over his right hip on his lower back that he's concerned about. So we're going to take a look at it and see if we can figure out, give him a soft diagnosis as to what it is. I asked him a question if the dog had fallen or been hit in that area, and he did. He actually fell down the stairs, and he thinks the dog kind of tumbled down the stairs. And I asked that because the skin right underneath the fur in that area is red. So my concern was that there's some bleeding under the skin, which could be from trauma. Basically, we would call that a subdermal hematoma, which just means that there was trauma to the soft tissue, and the capillaries bled and caused some swelling under the skin. And that's a soft diagnosis. I obviously would want him to follow up with his vet to confirm it, but I think he's going to be fine. And I'm Cece Nicosia signing out, veterinary technician for Canine Control TV.
Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Canine Control TV. I'd also like to say a word here about animal rescue. I'd like to thank the countless animal shelters, humane societies, and private citizens who have fostered and helped to adopt out the millions of animals that remain in our shelters today that have no permanent homes. And I'd like to take this moment also to encourage you to please consider adoption as an option for your new pet. And don't forget to subscribe to our show at youtube.com/Canine Control TV Show. Also, you can check us out at our website, caninecontroltv.com, or look us up on Facebook, Canine Control TV. Thanks a lot again for watching, and don't forget to adopt. Not much, Joe! Production.